So today I'm going to be presenting with lovely Danielle over there. And do you want to start, Danielle, and then I'll take over?
Yeah.
Just do an intro and say hello.
Yes. So, hello to everybody. Some of you will be patches, some of you won't be patches, and it is great to have you all here today. We're going to be chatting about our experiences, which I find is the best part, as well as all the information that we need to know to move us forward. So, even if you're listening to this for the 10th time, as some of us do, I get on a lot of calls. It's a place where you learn something new every time. So have your ears open and your heart open and allow all the information that you need to come to you. So for me, what have I been? I'm thinking that I'm nearly up to 6 months now, but I've only been patching not very long. So 5 or 6 months, nearly 6 months, I think now. And I had pretty much immediate results. For me, there was a couple of things, and so it's just grown over time. So there's constantly something happening for me. So the first one was energy, and that boost of energy was something that I didn't even realize that I'd lost at the time. And so that was a massive, massive help to me to really start to look at my life differently, start to bring a lot more into my world. And Arleen and I have known each other for 14 years or something, 13 years, 14 years, maybe 15 years, and through other modalities and things. And so when I saw her, I knew what she'd been going through, which you will hear about in a moment. And she started looking better and better and better. And I'm like, what is happening here? And then we were talking on and off, and then we ended up, what's this thing? What's going on? What are these? What are you doing? And so that's where I came into Lifewave. And I was shocked at the start because I had never heard of Lifewave. I'd never heard of these patches. And I was one that dived into a lot of stuff. So I was shocked that I hadn't found these, but as it happens, Lifewave always comes into your life at the perfect time. So that's been really great too, because a lot of things were moving for me, and this was so perfect to follow on. And I'm going to talk about the business part later. So for me, my results have been consistent and keep growing. So they keep growing on. So my main reason for patching was because of perimenopause. So it was punching me in the face, and I thought there was something seriously wrong with me, and I didn't know what to do. And I've been trying all these things, and nothing was working, or I'd get a tiny little bit of something out of that. And I realized when I've got a 2-year-old granddaughter, and I realized when she started grunting every time she got up that I needed to do something, because that was actually me that was grunting and she was just copying me. So that was a bit of a, okay, I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't be grunting right now. And so, yeah, I had a lot of pain. My back was going out every 5 minutes, and I had a lot of pain, had brain fog, couldn't put two and two together, hadn't realized until I started patching that once my spark to life came back as well, that I realized how down I was. Or I'm always very bright and very out there and very loud. That probably never changes. But I just didn't have the oomph underneath me and inside of me and coming from my heart. I didn't have that. And it really made me quite sad when I realized it was starting to come back. It was great, but it was like, oh, wow, I really lost that. So for me, that was a massive tick as well. My back has not gone. It was going once a month, once every 2 months, just, and it would be over silly things, just leaning over the wrong way, and then it'd be gone, and that was it. It's like, a month before you would get back on track. My back has not gone in the whole time I've been on the patches, which that for me is the biggest part for me, that I can actually keep doing what I need to do. My strength, vitality, all of the things are just growing, growing, growing. So we had a cyclone in Australia a month or two, nearly 2 months ago, and we've got a house that has an underneath and a top, and it's like a Queenslander kind of scenario. And because we're in a flood zone as well, so that was also a threat, and we had to leave our home. So before that, we had to lift up everything that was underneath our house up to the top. So we were lugging upstairs everything. everything. We had to just get everything up quite quickly, and it was a bit of a rush. And I did it like an absolute trooper. And I was just thinking each morning, I'm thinking, and am I going to be able to even move the next day? And then I just get up and start doing it all again. So we had probably 3 weeks before, during, and after that we've had to rejig our whole home, and then we decided to paint, didn't we? And so it's been really busy, and I had the energy to keep going every day. So for me, you hear so many testimonials along the way, and it is just, to me, mind blowing. And it makes me really joyful to be a part of this company. Makes me really joyful to put a patch on every day, knowing that I can live my life to the fullest, and I don't have to be an old grandma that's grumbling on the ground. Now my grandkids do not make those noises anymore because I don't do it. I even realized the other day someone was posting something about perimenopause, and it was a course or something, come, and normally I would be all over that. And I just went, oh, and it made me realize that my symptoms are gone. So I'm not hunting for something to fix things. I'm not hunting for that anymore. So that was a massive, also, even 5 months later, that I was like, oh yeah, I'm not looking for the problem anymore because I've already got the solution. So that's pretty cool. So I'll let Arleen continue on, and I'll chat again later.
Thank you so much. I love listening to everybody's stories. It really gives me such hope and inspiration. And it's one of the whys of why I do this, because every time when I go in a call like this and I listen to what's happened to people, I'm going, thank you that I listened. Thank you that I shared. Thank you that it's made an impact on somebody else's life. So the impact on my story, I had a very interesting medical episode where I ended up with I was going through breast cancer treatment, and the breast cancer was doing very well, but we did a full body scan just to make sure that it hadn't spread anywhere. And we discovered that I actually had a heart tumor unrelated to the breast cancer, but still 3 centimeters of my atrium was filled up with a tumor. So that caused an instant panic attack in the medical department, and 24 hours later, open heart surgery. And because of that, 6 weeks later, double mastectomy, 10 weeks later, another surgery. So it was quite an interesting journey. And along the way, we also discovered I had osteoporosis. Now, I was very lucky. I was supported incredibly well. I have an amazing community in my Life Alignment community at that stage who really, they did a crowdfund for me. They helped a lot, but it still put me in $15,000 debt. And it meant that for 5 months, I wasn't working. And the importance of having a secondary income became very, very obvious to me. And the second thing was looking for a solution for osteoporosis. I was doing all the different exercises. I was eating correctly. I was doing everything else correctly. But it's one of those slow things. And I didn't, I'm only 58 now. I didn't want to be a fragile 60 or 70-year-old. And I didn't want to stick plastic inside my bones and lose my jaw. Well, when you look for something, solutions come. And a friend of mine was on a call, on a Life Alignment call, and just checking in and saying, oh, well, there's this Lifewave thing that she's doing. And she didn't say anything more about it. She just mentioned the name, and everything in me just went, do that, right? So I sent her a message and said, I don't know what that is, but let's have a call. I jumped straight into it because I had such a strong feeling with it. And then I did my research. Normally, I do everything the other way around. And I discovered that actually the X39 and X49 combined do work on bone regeneration. And I've just had proof of that because I've been on the patches for a year and 3 months. And I went to the dentist and we did a full jaw x-ray because I do have a gap, and we've got to find a solution for that gap. And my previous jaw x-rays, we were like, might just need to use a false tooth or something because the jaw's not quite as strong as it should be. Well, this time I just said to them, well, what are the options? And they said, oh, well, you've got all the options. You can do this, you can do implants, you can do this, you can do that. And I'm like, but don't you have to have a strong jaw for implants? And I went, yeah. I said, and mine, it's normal. I was just like, yes. So although my hips are still a little bit on the edge of osteoporosis, the numbers there are beginning to change, but it's already changed in my jaw. And not only that, I used to have gingivitis. I had a gum disease. And I had not realized in my flossing that I'd stopped bleeding. And the dentists are doing this deep clean and digging away, and they're like, God, your gums are so tight and your gaps are only 2 mils. And I can see that in the past you've had a gum disease. I just don't understand it. You're not even bleeding. What's going on? People don't heal from that. And I'm like, yes, they do. So dentists are now very interested in the patches. So that's just one of the things. The other things that happened is the healing of my scars. A year after heart surgery, I still had my heart scar, which is when anybody who has heart surgery, we have these very long lines across down here. And this was very rigid and painful a year after surgery. And within a few months, that had completely flattened, and I have no tension and no pain in my scar at all. So, the scar healing has been phenomenal. Then things like fibromyalgia disappeared, and my foot bursitis disappeared, and my shoulder bursitis disappeared. And I went to get my eyes checked. And previously they said, well, you've got just the beginnings of, um, cataracts forming, but it'll take, 10 years or so before we need to do anything about it. Last time I went to get my eyes checked, oh, I know, doing really well. Not a word about any sign of cataract or anything. That disappeared too. So, there's been a whole range of things, and I'll tell you more of them as I go into talking about the product, which I'm going to do now. Okay. So I'll just bring the rest of my story in because I have one of those big, long stories, and I could talk for hours about everything that's happened. But just on a financial side, as I said, I wanted this as a secondary income. Is it a secondary income for me? Yes, it is. In fact, it's overtaking my primary income, even though I don't spend as much time on it. So since February last year, it's paid my rent every week. And then it started paying for my car because I decided I needed a new car. It pays for my car payments. It took me on holiday overseas where I took an entire month off, and it was paying all my bills and it paid for the holidays. So is it working as a secondary income? Yes, it is. Do you need to put time into it? Yes, of course you do. It is network marketing. So you put a bit of effort in. Do I put as much time into it as I do to my primary income? No. But it's all about maintaining relationships and communities and connections. And that's something I love doing. So I don't see that as an effort. Okay. Right, let's have a look and see what this is all about. So, have you been patched yet? Some of you on this call have already been patched, like me. We're oldie patches, been doing it for well over a year and a half now. Other people haven't been patched yet. Some are new to patching. And what you will discover when you start patching with these gorgeous little patches is that your life elevates and your energy activates and regenerates. We always talk about David Schmidt. This is the amazing inventor and CEO of Lifewave. He actually now has just celebrated reaching his 200th patent. So he's a scientist and an inventor. He's not a doctor, but he has been given an honorary doctorate as well. He specializes in age reversing. And in 2008, he started to focus attention on stem cell research because that became all the rage. The company is actually over 20 years old. And his first patches and the whole concept of working with the patches came about 20 years ago when he was actually hired by the military to look into how to keep energy going and keep the divers and the military divers awake when the submarines. And he started looking at the different options, and most people were doing things like caffeine and different forms of stimulants, which actually have a lot of side effects and damage on the body. And in his mind, he was going, can't we do something that's natural that stimulates energy? And that's when he invented the first patches, the energy enhancer, which are still used today. And I do love them. A lot of sports people use them. Um, they're a profound patch. And he then started using that same sort of technology to find ways of stimulating other things. So a whole range of patches came. And then in 2008 started his research and his energy on the stem cell, because that's, the stem cells became the whole keyword. And he started thinking, Can we actually stimulate the body using light in a natural way to reactivate stem cells? And the answer is yes. It took him 10 years to develop it and $4.5 million to bring it to the market. And we are ever so grateful he did. Now, as we said, he has over 200 patents. A patent means you have to be able to prove everything that the patent says. So there's all sorts of research and studies that are done to prove this. And what does our patent for the X39 state? That in the embodiment as a result of elevating copper peptides, including the activation of stem cells, improvement in energy, elevation of antioxidants, reduction in inflammation, management of pain, improvement in stamina, elevation of collagen production, and improvement in wound healing. And in fact, I've been able to look at every single one of those things and say, yes, that has happened to me. So why the X39 stem cell? This is the one we're going to talk about today. Like I said, there's a whole range of different patches, but X39 has become our flagship patch because of the activation of stem cells. I didn't know this, but did you know that as you age, you have fewer stem cells? And that is actually what causes you to age and slows your healing. You know, as you get older, people take longer to heal. And the reason is their stem cells are dormant. So everybody ages. So as you age, this is happening to you, right? At the age of 30, only half of your stem cells are actually active. And at the age of 60, you lose almost all stem cell activity, which is why we all become a little bit Madala as we get to that time, right? So, how does X39 work? It is a proprietary form of phototherapy, photo light. Okay, so you can see the image in the bottom there. That's what a patch looks like. Inside that white, it's a crystal grid of nanotechnology. So tiny, nano means very small. And those crystals are made of sugars, salts, and amino acids, and they are grown to form in a particular grid pattern so that when your body's light touches, because your body has light in it, you know that because if you wear infrared goggles, everybody lights up like a, lighthouse. Um, so that's that light. That light hits the patch, stimulates the patch, which then sends its signal down back through light back into the body. So it's actually like a signaling system. So it's completely non-transdermal. Nothing is actually going into your body. There are no drugs, no chemicals, no stimulants. So you can use this with and alongside your vitamins and your other drugs or whatever else you're taking. It's not going to cause any problems there. And it's completely non-invasive, which is why Olympic athletes can use the patches because they've been able to prove that there is nothing going into their body. It's totally natural. Okay. What are the benefits of the X39 patch? Well, increased strength. So, as I said, I had all those surgeries. And when you've had a lot of surgeries to your chest and you've had your breast removed and all the rest of it, like I did, you're down to being able to lift up a teacup. I remember taking my first steps after heart surgery was no fun at all. It was really difficult. And it's taken it took me a long time to rebuild that strength. Well, Danielle mentioned that cyclone that was down the road from me too. I came home from an overseas flight, got up the very next morning, pulled all my big pot plants from outside, stuck them inside, and I'm talking big pot plants, not small ones, lifted them, lifted a whole lot of boxes from my garage, carried them through into the main side of the house. Do you know how heavy a double futon is? Well, I carried a double futon into my garage to pack against the garage door. It was like, and then I suddenly realized what I was doing, and I'm going, oh my God, where did that come from? I actually have muscles now, and I never had muscles like this. I don't go to the gym. So these are X39 and X49 muscles. So increased strength, right? Reduction in inflammation. That's where the fibromyalgia and the foot bursitis and the shoulder bursitis came, and that's the reduction of inflammation. And so many diseases and conditions are caused by inflammation in the body. So it's very important to reduce the inflammation because it blocks healing. Increased stamina. I've just done a month in South Africa. I was climbing mountains and going on hikes. I mean, I can't believe what I was actually doing, driving a car for 12 hours straight. It's insane. So definitely have the increased stamina. The energy and vitality, ditto from what I've just told you there. Mental clarity. This is one of the first things that many people notice is that brain fog list. Um, when you've been in heart surgery and you've been on what do they call it? The heart lung machine where they literally stop your heart and stop your breathing, and all your blood goes through this machine, and you come out of it with the most incredible brain fog. It took me a couple of months to actually learn all my words again. And I had to restudy because I teach and train in these alternative healing methods, and there's a whole lot of anatomy and physiology. I had to learn that again, and I was struggling. But since being on the patches, I've got memory recall again. Okay. The restored muscle or skeletal condition, that's Danielle and I telling you how we've become superwomen. Improvement of sleep, this is extremely important because the more sleep you get, the better and deeper sleep you get, the deeper your healing is. Okay. So this has been quite an improvement for me. I don't have to get up and pee as often, sometimes once or twice, mostly not at all. Um, Dream recall has been quite profound because I wasn't having a lot of dreams and I didn't have dream recall and I wasn't having technicolor dreams. The other day I woke up and I was a bit confused because my dream was so real. I was like, hang on a minute. What was reality? What was dream? And really profoundly deep sleep. So when you start having those kind of dreams, you know you've reached that deep level of sleep, which is very important. And the improvement of skin. Okay, now that's been very important for me. I don't have granny hands anymore. So you know how you age, they've got collagen in your skin and that all disappears. And then you get these wrinkly hands. And when you pull your hand up like this, it stays up like a tent. Well, mine don't anymore. I used to have granny hands. I now have these gorgeous young hands. And I'm just turned 58. And I don't have a lot of wrinkles. So it's done amazing stuff for my skin, both internally and externally. So you get this whole optimal health, a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. Okay. Now, like I said, there's been lots of different medical tests and researches, and we will show you on a website to go and have a look at where you can actually have a look at more of these. This is just one example we're giving you of a topographical map of the brain. This is a type of brain scan, and they did a whole range of brain scans on elderly people. This particular one is on a 77-year-old woman. In session one on the left-hand side there, you can see all that red. That is inflammation, and that will show a lack of coherence in the brain and inflammation in the brain. That's before she started patching. Then they put a patch on her at the back of the neck once a day. And in session two, only 3 weeks later, you can see how completely different the two scans are. There's a full reduction in inflammation and improved brain coherence. There's very little red on that scan. Session three, 6 weeks later, it has maintained. It's showing a complete turnaround in the brain, better brain coherence, and no inflammation. So, this is becoming common. This is not a once-off thing. This is a common experience. So before, when she came in, her brain was hyperactive. Then it calmed down dramatically in the second visit, and that was maintained by the third visit. So this will apply as well for other conditions where people have hyperactive brains. X39, what are the long-term results? You can read up about these on the website, thisisitinfo.com. You want to write that down. It's a wonderful website. So in the first few days, 4,000 genes will begin to reset. Within 6 weeks, your brain will become balanced. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. This is this wonderful hands that I have that don't, stick up like a tent pole anymore. Um, Now, collagen is really important. People just think about collagen as hair and skin and nails. It's a whole lot more than that. It is the fibers that keeps everything in your body elastic. So as you age, that elasticity is not there. So that will impact digestion. It'll impact your bones and your muscle strength and your flexibility. So collagen is throughout the whole body, which is why it's such an important thing to note and to talk about. And within 6 months, your heart literally will reverse and age. So people like me who've got pig patches on our heart, it's very important to think that our heart's actually improving here. So it's not anti-aging, it's actually age reversing. How do you wear the patches? You wear your patch for 12 hours on and 12 hours off to repair and regenerate. Okay. Ideally, you do want to adhere to 12 hours. Why 12 hours? Because that's the research. It's shown that's the optimal time. You want to stimulate the body and then you want to give the body chance to relax. You can wear more than one type of patch. So you wear one X39 and I wear an X49 because the combination works on the bones and muscles. Sometimes I love to wear an Aeon, which is an anti-inflammatory patch, and at nighttime I will wear an aloe vera, which is the skin patch. But you don't have to. I mean, I would always start people on X39 and maybe Aeon, and then later on you can add patches, but always start X39 and maybe the Aeon. Drink plenty of water as well because it's going to be a rebuilding of the body from the inside out. So thinking about it from the point of view of repairing a house. When you're going to renovate a house, you've got to break down all the paint, scrape the paint down, cut all that out, wash the wall down. You need a good amount of water and some good electrolytes, something like Celtic sea salt or electrolytes that you can buy from the store, coconut water. Just gives the body that help so it can flush all that stuff away. Now, like I said, 12 hours on the patch. There is still a little bit of charge left on the patch. You can pass that on to a partner. Depends if you like them or not, or your dog or your cats. I actually patch my plants. Okay. So the X39, very sophisticated, but a very simple patch to explain. And the testimonials are absolutely profound. So I'm going to stop sharing there and open up the floor if anybody else would like to just volunteer their experience. Wave so I know. Who would like to talk about their experience on the patches? Otherwise, I'm going to pick on you. Thank you, Henrietta.
Okay, hi everybody. So I live in Norway, and my introduction to the patch was just about over a year ago, February, March last year. And I was told by a friend, and I didn't believe a word she said. And she didn't know anything about it. She just decided because Arleen told her this was good. She said, "Okay, I trust you. I'll buy it." And then she told me, and I said, "Okay, let me see what this is." So I started patching after going to one of Arlene's meeting, listening to Arlene, what she was saying. And I have to say, to my surprise, already after 2 days of patching, my energy just came like out of nowhere. Wake up 6 in the morning, fresh and ready to go. And I'm the one that wants 3 cups of coffee and an hour completely by myself before I talk to people. So I was actually really shocked. So then I really got interested. So I started researching. I started joining into meetings all over the world to see what else can this patch do. And soon I realized it could help with menopausal trouble, like you said, Danielle. So, and I had a really big problem. I had a lot of medication. I went to several specialists trying to get help. And I'd been on medication for 4 or 5 years already. And after 3 months of patching, I could completely quit all my medication without any symptoms at all. And I was very fascinated by that, and of course, very happy. And I had no clue what else this could do for me because I consider myself a very healthy person. But I have to say, now I've been patching for over a year. After 6 months, my eyesight improved dramatically. I've been using special glasses since I was 17, and all the defects on my eyes are gone, absolutely gone. And even I had -4 on both eyes, and even that has reversed. So now I have a -2.5, and so it's crazy. And I didn't know that could happen. And after that, just a lot of things. My skin has improved. I don't get sunburned anymore. I don't get eczema in the sun or from stress or anything. So just a lot of things just keep happening. And the most funny thing is, I just was on a vacation in Thailand, and I love to be in the sun, but I hate the mosquitoes. And I have kind of allergic response to these mosquitoes in the warm weather. So I used to get big bites, and they normally they just get they I suffer for days. And I have this big medical box I even brought with me, for all the symptoms I get from these mosquito bites. This time, nothing. I am absolutely so surprised. I got mosquito bites, but they didn't itch, they didn't blow up, just nothing. So obviously this patch is just still it's still surprising me. And yes, I am also working with it. It's giving me a nice extra income. And all I do is just tell people about it and invite them to meetings. That's it. And people can look and see for themselves. And we hear all these stories, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Arleen, for telling my friend.
Such a pleasure. So lovely to hear from you, and I love your story. So thank you for that. Would anybody else like to share? Caroline, thank you.
Yeah, we have to all thank Arlene because it was also thanks to Arlene that I got involved through Adrian, who is in England. I'm Caroline, I'm Danish, but I live in the UK. And I got a phone call from a friend saying, I've just been speaking to this guy, Adrian, a friend of mine, and he's all over these patches. And would you be interested in hearing a bit more? And I was like, that sounds interesting, a little bit scary. I don't really like the sound of stem cells. I think that could be a bit dodgy. And so we chatted about it. And then when I realized that we are just talking here about a non-transdermal patch that is activating our own, almost like our own immune system, then I started listening up and I thought, well, at 65, there's a lot of stuff that's going wrong slowly. I need to get on these patches ASAP, which I did. And like a lot of people that had very quick results, yeah, that wasn't me. I didn't actually feel any difference at all. Although, having thought about it for a while back, I did get a migraine the first day I patched, which wasn't as bad as my normal migraine, and I don't normally have them that often, but it was almost like I had a detox reaction that first day. And now, and a year and a half almost later, I've not had a migraine since. So that's pretty cool as well. But the main reason I wanted to start patching was just overall, you know, old age, arthritis, stiff knee, pain in my joints, and all of that. And I had not been able to bend my knee for years, really. So I couldn't do any yoga, or I even did loads of qigong, where you don't actually have to bend your knees that much, but you're just moving the energy around. And even that was not really fixing it. And 3 months into patching, I was squatting again, and that was like a massive plus for me because I had tried everything. I'd gone to all sorts of alternative specialists, and everyone was saying, yeah, a little bit of this, and do some massage and try this, and nothing really made a difference. The patch just sorted it out, and that was amazing. Then I started patching my friends and family, and I had a girlfriend whose eczema disappeared just like that in a month and a half, just on X39. Her liver counts were back to normal. She stopped eating junk food and wanted to be healthy. She slowly lost weight. I mean, just things like that happened to her. Uh, I finally got my husband convinced to patch as well, and he turned around to me a week later and said, I feel really young. And I'm like, you've only been patching for a week. I can't believe that. So, but he was like, give me a patch. So he was good. And also he rides horses, and he rides motorbikes as well. So his hips really always sore. And he said, I can start a motorbike and not get the pain in my hip. I can ride a whole hour and not feel my hips falling off. So he's a convert. My son's very tall, and he's had problems with his back. And we sorted that out every single time he's had a back problem. We've stuck a X39 and some Icewave and Eon on him, and it's gone. So I'm a complete convert. I'm loving also the journey of seeing what happens over time. And I know some of the things we don't feel necessarily will show up on blood tests and so forth. So, but the energy and vitality that comes with just feeling not 66 any longer, because now I'm 66, is amazing. I just have that same thing, Henrietta, where I wake up and just feel ready to go. And not ever thinking, oh God, I can't get out of bed. And, deep sleep. I think that's the most important thing, actually, because the better we sleep, the better we feel, isn't it? So, yeah, so many positives.
Thank you so much. I love listening to these stories. Could go on forever, but I'm going to pass it back to Danielle for the second part. Do you want to share your own screen, love?
Yeah, why is that not? I'll just have to do it like this. Why does it do that? There we go. How come I shared it like that? Oh, well. Has it gone down the side for you guys?
We can see your screen.
Oh, great. Fantastic. Okay. So this is it info.com is a website that you really want to write down. So it's a space where this is a lot of information that we give you over this time. So we try and keep it quite concise, but this is a place where you can go and you can check out more deeply. There's lots of testimonials. There's lots more information. There's all the results of all the different tests and all the different things that they've done. And really is a place for you to go back to. It's a place that I go back to consistently as well. And I always learn something different again in this space. So write that down and check it out. It's definitely a place you want to go. So just a bit about Lifewave, and knowing that the company is solid and has a foundation and has been growing and doing all the things that we want for a company if we're choosing to come into it on the business side. So the business side for me was ideally a must. It's the point that we have, as you heard from Arleen, an incredible product is the first thing, obviously, when you come in. I've done many other MLMs and I just haven't had the passion. I haven't had the support. I haven't had all the things because the product wasn't so good. It was a me too product most of the time that I was doing. This is not, and I'll explain that a little bit more in a minute. And the support that we've had in this team, as you can hear, most people are saying because of Arleen, we have a really incredible team here. The This Is It team is one of the biggest in Lifewave, and the support is out of this world. If you need to know anything, it's a plug and play system, and you just follow it and you just listen and you learn and you just do. And it's been so simple. So that for me is a massive plus. So Lifewave itself is a 20-year-old company. It's open in, I think it's over 80 countries now. And so that's showing that depth of how it's growing and how long it's been around for. It's not a me too product. So like most companies, like most MLMs, like anything that you want to go into, you want something that is original, and that having the patent on these patches means that it is original. It means that it can't be copied. And so you're not going to be able to go to the supermarket and buy this. So, a lot of the time with the weight loss skincare supplements they're talking about, if you want a vitamin C, you can buy it from someone like us, or you can buy it from the supermarket. And so a lot of the time it can be a lot cheaper to do the supermarket. This isn't so with Lifewave. This isn't so with any of the patches. He's put his all into creating these incredible products, and he wants to keep it as a really special thing that people can share out if they're coming through Lifewave. So that's what the Me Too product is about. It's not a Me Too product, which makes it a lot easier to move with as well. So in 2021, it was a $20 million company, and it was moving along fine, and that's great numbers for starters. But in 2022, when so-called everything's falling apart, they introduced and he created and brought to market was the X39. And that's why we talk about the X39 consistently, and that is the bomb patch. Like, that is the space that you want to go to. Yes, there are a lot of other incredible patches, but for starters, and we always suggest that, because it went from a $20 million company to a $320 million company just because of that X39. So it is something that we really talk about a lot. And in 2023, 24, you can see how it's growing. So the end of 2024 is over $6 million. So that's just showing the quick growth that it's doing, and also that they're here for a long time. They're here. They're constantly telling us about, new patents that are coming out because of new products that are coming out, and it's really exciting to be on part of the team. So this is it. Team is heading for $1 billion in 2025, and I absolutely have no doubt that they will make that, because of what I'm seeing happening behind the scenes. So there's always lots of YouTube. There's lots of all the different things that that you want to find out, you have at your fingertips. So you never feel lost, and you always feel really supported. What do we got here? Oh, yeah. So Lifewave is now ranked #1 momentum company. So this is on businessforhome.org. And you can see here just the growth that is happening on that chart. And it's actually 3,000. Oh, what was that? Can you guys see that? Turn off. Sorry, I'll just turn this off. Get rid of that. Sorry about that. So yeah, it's a 3,000% growth rate from 2018 to 2024. So that is exceptional. Like, that is something that you want. If you're going to join a company, that's what you want to hear. So that is always happening. So you can go and check these out, because I think we are always going to be rating quite high on there. So this is also the awards that have been coming out of Lifewave have been amazing. So #1 growth company in the Bravo Awards. I think we got it again this year. So these are the everyone showing up and getting all excited about. It just goes to show the support, the growth, that we're being noticed out in the world as well. Sometimes you can feel a little bit like you're
Your volume's off.
your own company, but this is where it starts to really see that we're actually growing out a lot bigger than that too. Okay, so this is just a question that you want to ask yourself. What is most important in your life? So there's always lots of different things that people want to do a business for, that want to get involved for. And so these are just a few of them. It's like family. Is family what you wanting? More time with your family? You're wanting more freedom? You're wanting more security? Are you wanting, to know that can have a couple of incomes, or something that you want to really dig your teeth into, and it really become your security there? Do you want more travel, which is totally offered through Lifewave? Better health, less debt. So just going through each one of those. For me, it's all of those. It's all of those, to be able to grow into myself a lot more as well, is another one that's really important for me, that I'm aligned with a company that aligns with me. So I am a healer by trade, if you want to call it that. I'm a sound healer. I have done Lifewave for the last 5, and it is taking over more of, this is what I'm wanting. This is what I'm wanting. This is where I want to put my focus, and it works in beautifully with the rest of my work anyway. So yeah, just asking yourself those questions. So like, how do we get started is the question that everyone always asks. Well, how does it work? What can we do? How can we earn? All of the different things. So we're just going to go briefly over everything, because it's a lot otherwise. And always go back to the person that invited you here today, so that you can dive in a lot deeper. And we are so happy to do workshops and, get on a Zoom and do this and just work through all these things. So, and coming to these, getting your people to come to these is the most important thing, because you learn more every single time. So the 3 ways that you can get started, and there's 3 packages along here that you can see. that can help you as well. So the first way to get started is that you can have customers. So they're at $149. I always talk in US dollars. $149, which is full retail. So you can have people that will just come in and they'll just buy their full retail and they'll just do that. They don't want to be part of the business. And so you'll just have people running like that. All of the people in all of the ways are really important to have so that you're building depth in your business. So the second way is the preferred customer. So this is where they get the wholesale and they can go on a monthly order and monthly subscription, but they're getting the wholesale. So it's a part where they just first start to dip their toes into the business side a little bit if they want to, or they don't have to. So preferred customer. The third way is a way that if you want to build your business, this is where you want people to come in. You want them to come in at a brand partner, which is the same as a preferred customer. It has the wholesale and the discount, but there's the business opportunity where you can start to earn while you're creating teams. So this is the part where you really want to invite people to become brand partners. And when you're inviting people, especially to be the brand partner, there is these three packages that can really help start people's business and start your business off. I always say, like, wow, I've started a few businesses of my own businesses, bit of entrepreneurial space in me. And this was the best way to start a business. I didn't have to put $100,000 into a business, or even five months down the track, have to put $100,000 in to keep the business going because it's growing. It's not so here. So you can start for as little as $99.95 and or $25 even if you want to start that way and just join the company. So it is incredible the way that you can do it, and there's all ways. So just speak to the person who asked you and what is in your league. How do you want to do that? What do you actually want from your business? And we can, help guide you through that. So the first package there is the core. And so it's $295 US dollars, and it gives you 3 sleeves of X39. And you can mix these out a little bit if you want to add some Aeon and bits and pieces, so we can explain that at another time. But ideally, you get 3 sleeves. It's a great way to start as a single person or as a couple. So we started on this, and my husband and I started on this. So we had a month's worth of product there, ideally, for ourselves. So that was the way that we just like, okay, we're going to dip our toe in. And we're going to, we were sort of on the fence at the start, but not anymore. So that gives you also, when someone else joins under that core, it gives you $35. As you can see there, the PIB of each of those packages. So it'll give you $35. When someone joins up with a core, it'll give you $35 there. So that also gives you 180 points in your personal volume, which is something that you want to learn about along the way too, because that's how you start to get the depth. So very quickly, we moved on to the advanced, and you can upgrade to the advanced, which is the best way to do it. So $535, you get 6 sleeves here. So this becomes great for if you've got a family that you want to put everyone on there, or if you're starting to patch people, depending how you want to run your business. And you also get the $75 for signing that person up, as well as the PV, which then adds up to bonuses along the way as well. So that's a really great way for people to come in and start to do the business. Then there's the optimal, which is the premium. So that's $1,750. If you sign people up under this, you get $405 as a commission there. You get 745 personal volume. So that one actually has 20 sleeves in it, and you can break them down into lots of other things if you would like. But ideally 20 sleeves so you can get started. So if you're a shop, have a shop, or if you're going to the market like I do, or this is a great one to start you off. And it is, like I was saying, that $1,750 to start a business is nothing compared to what you would normally have to do out in the world. So those are sort of the 3 just starter ways. You can always work with your people to find out which one works best for them, and then they can upgrade over the time. So that's also really a convenient way and can save them quite a bit of money when they upgrade along the way. So the importance of being on a monthly subscription. You can also be on a subscription where you just get delivered your monthly subscriptions. You get a sleeve sent to you. And so as you're going along, you want to stay active. So that's a really important part of being part of the business. If you want it as a business, you want to stay active. So one sleeve subscription per month is enough to keep you active until you move up in the ranks, and a little bit, as you move up, you want it then 2 sleeves. But that's sort of the basis of it. If you're doing 1 sleeve, or if you pay the $25, you can just get started and start building your business. You can get in underneath whoever you want to get in underneath and start building up that way. Okay, so yeah, that's it. So yeah, this is the compensation plan. So this is a binary, and you have, what that means is you can see the little people over there. You have a left team and a right team. You're not having to build, 10 different teams. You just have a left leg and a right leg, and you build from there. So getting started is easy as knowing 4 people to go manager. So once you go manager, you can really start to create your business, and it doesn't take that long to get there. Commission, the team commissions. So this is on the bigger scale, is you can earn up to 25,000 each week from the binary. So that's not month, that's not year, that's each week. So as you move up your ranks, you can move up quite quickly. You can do it as fast or as slow as you like. And the point is that in this just this type of commission, you can earn 25,000. And then on the next slide, there's more other ways that you can go a lot deeper with your team. So I just wanted to share like how to earn. So there's, what have I got here? 3 or 4 different ways. So one of them is retail online shop. So every time someone shops, you get a commission for whatever sleeves they buy. So say they buy 1 sleeve, you get a $50 commission. So retail is also a great way to do that. If people don't want to be in the business, it doesn't mean that you're not going to earn from them. So the retail online shop, that is a great way to earn. There's also, the second way is introductory bonuses. So when you introduce others, you get a bonus depending on the order. So that's what we were talking about back here, is the PIB, $35 for the core, $75 for the advanced, and $405 for the premium. So that's another way that you can earn, and then you're going to get your personal volume underneath that, which then starts to grow as well. So which comes into, once you get that personal volume, comes into your cycle bonuses, is another way to earn. So you earn from your whole organization. As you start to build your team, you earn PV, which is personal volume, and you get your cycle bonuses from these. So once you have 330 on your one leg and 660 points on the other leg, you'll get a cycle bonus. So that starts to all come through and can add up quite quickly, which is why 25,000 that you can earn each week can absolutely be available to you. And then we're going to go on to the next one. So another way then too, once you become manager, is the matching bonuses. So this is helping your team. This is now becoming more about your team succession and to grow, go deep and grow. So this is where you can go deep and earn. You just, not just from the people you signed up, but from their people and then their people. So it goes beyond. So that first level there is that I have signed somebody up. And so that's my first level. And so if they start getting cycle bonuses, and then I get 25% of that once you're above a manager or above. And so then what happens is you go a little bit deeper. And the second layer is I invited somebody and they're my first, and then they invited somebody and joined somebody, and that's my second. And so I'm earning from their people that I may not even know. And I get the 20% there of their cycle bonuses as well. So that starts to add up, as you can imagine, that once you start going deeper and deeper. And then there's the third layer. So my person, gets another person, and then that person gets another person, that they join up and starting to do the business, and you get 20% of that as well. So as you can see from that, it can go quite deep and quite quickly. You can start to grow into such an incredible business, and it's an unlimited income potential there. So Lifewave makes no promises or guarantees regarding income. It is like MLM it's what you put into the business. So the more you put in, the more you're going to get out. And it's about consistency. It's about working with your team. It's about asking questions that you need to. It's about allowing support, because there's such an incredible team, and it's about growing, and it's about getting out here. Like, I put my hand up all the time to do these because I learn from doing. And so for me, if I'm doing these, even if I muck something up, it's like, oh, well, continue on, and I'm learning for the next time. So there's a few of you on here that have seen me from the start. So yeah, you start to grow, which is great. But it's such a delight for me, because otherwise I wouldn't put my hand up. I wouldn't want to do this. I wouldn't feel confident enough. So that's, to me, just showing the confidence in the teamwork, in coming together, the support that I have. I feel really blessed. So if that's something that you need to, and the extra things that we get, like we're constantly coming on, Arleen's doing balances with us. Like, we've got such an incredible team. So there is also member incentives is another way to earn. So there's trips that people have been going on, rewards and prizes along the way, and they're quite incredible. Like, yeah, you just want to really check all those things out. So moving on to this part. Yeah, so as I talked at the start, thisisit.info.com is the go-to, is the place where you find all the testimonials, is the place where you can send other people from your business. It's like a place that you can go and check this out, especially at the start. If you're not really 100% sure on all the stuff and it's a lot of information, This Is It Info is the place that you send them, or to these meetings you send them. And so it's a real great help that you, especially at the start, don't have to know it all. You can just get going and get moving with it all. And the other part for you, so that you do start to know everything, is thisisitteam.com. So this is for people doing the business and getting to know everything that you need to know, and how to plug in and how to play all of the different bits and pieces, and so that you can just rinse and repeat. We just have so much support there for that. So thisisitteam.com, go and check that out, and you will see from that how much you have to share. So time is now to make your move. Just asking yourself the questions. Are you serious about your dream? A lot of the time we can have pie in the sky and, oh yeah, if that, nah, that can't be me. But if you are serious about your dream and you want this, and you know that you can move forward with things, hope is in your future to work with Lifewave, to work in this team, to grow. It doesn't really matter what team it is, really, but I just know this is extra special. I always say it's a little bit extra special, It's time to get started with X39. So ask yourself if you are serious to have all those things that we were talking about, freedom and security and all those things. Are they important? Is this part of your dream? Are you just looking for a little bit of extra income, or are you looking to throw in and just go for it? Because it's a whole yes for me on all the levels. So yeah, thank you for listening. And I don't think we've got any more slides there. I'm just going to unshare and go back to Arleen. So
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you just get better and better at it all the time. Awesome.